Recording in progress.
So good morning, everyone. This is Thursday, September 25th, 2025, and it's 9:02 a.m. And this is a meeting of the Contract Review Committee and the Council for Human Services. My name is Veronica Bolchik, and I'm Chair of Contract Review and also Chair of CHS. So because this meeting is being done in a hybrid fashion, we have some people here in Trailer A, and then we have quite a number of people up on the screen. All votes will be done by roll call today because we're in a hybrid fashion. So, good morning again, everyone. The first thing I need to do is to call this meeting to order. So first with contract review, when I call your name, please acknowledge with your name and a here, and we will then have our quorum established. So for Contract Review Committee, up on the screen I see Suzanne Keating.
Here.
Okay. And then Lee Tesser.
Here.
All right. And then John Balash.
Here.
All right. And myself, Veronica. So we have a quorum, and I do know that Joanna Roach will be joining us. So when she arrives, we'll just acknowledge the time that she's here, and we'll get her officially into the meeting. And then on the, I'm going to do these in tandem here. So for CHS, up on the screen, I have Suzanne Keating, who's also a member of CHS. So can Suzanne?
Here.
And then Sue Minthinen?
Present.
All right. And I don't see anyone else on the screen. And here in the trailer, I have Tara Restieri.
Here.
And myself. So that is 4. We need 5 for a quorum. So
We just declared
exactly. So we'll then move on to just approving the agenda for contract review. Can I have a motion to approve that agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay, so that's Lee. Can I have a second?
Second.
Alrighty, so by roll call, Lee,
Aye.
Suzanne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself, aye, so we do have an agenda. Next thing, we had minutes from 7/18/25 and 8/8/25. Can I have a motion from CRC to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
I approve.
Okay, Suzanne, can I have a second?
Second.
All right, John, and then by roll call, Lee,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Suzanne,
Aye.
and myself, aye. And I want to thank Alexandra Richards. She's not with us today for her concise and on-time minutes. All right, so we do have members of the public here today. And the next thing on our agenda is just public comment. So what I'd like to do is just at this point recognize the people of the public who are here. So I can see, first names in many cases. So I'm going to ask Jericho to help me a bit there. And then if you can just state your organization and, whoever you have with you from your organization. And then after this, we will then get into the applicant information session, and you'll then have the opportunity to ask questions, and we'll make this we do have a PowerPoint that we'll go through, but then the intention today is to get information out, and if you have questions, please ask, and I will recognize you, with questions, and then even afterwards, and we will state this again, if you have questions after today, that Jericho is available, email and phone, We have a bit of time before the grants are due, so we want to make sure that everyone has their questions answered. So, with members of the public, I first see Francine up there, so can you state your last name and your organization?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Francine Balling, Artist Association, and just myself this morning.
Okay, thank you, Francine, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Next, I see Elise, I believe, there. So if you can state your full name and your organization representing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Amy
Norton.
Alliance
For
Substance
Prevention.
and NAMI.
And NAMI.
Good, thank you.
I can give you the next name.
Okay, well, I have Beth Howard, if you can.
Hi, yes, good
Yes,
morning.
good morning.
My name's Beth Howard.
Howard.
I work
I
for
work for
the Cape Cod Healthcare Foundation, which is the fundraising arm of healthcare.
Healthcare.
And
And
we run DNA public programs on Nantucket.
Okay, thank you for joining us today.
you.
A new face for us, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and as I go down the line, I see Jennifer.
Hi, good morning, Jennifer Frazee. I'm here representing A Safe Place.
Thank you for joining us today. And I thought I saw Brian up.
There was a Brian that's given the moment.
Is there anyone on Zoom that I have not recognized?
there's
Oh, yeah, Brian?
There's quite a few people. I can, so it's only showing a few people up on the screen. I have
Okay.
about 18 people.
Okay, so if Jericho, I'm gonna have you take it from here then.
And then just real quick, it was reported that there was some pretty bad echo on the audio. Has that settled down? A little
Yes.
bit?
It has, thank you for that, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. She was someone who let me zoom in and let me know. If it pops back, just raise your hand and let me know. There's very few things more irritating than that. I have Janice.
Hi, Janice Carrero, Nantucket Food, Fuel and Rental Assistance, and I have Jamie Dickinson, whose name is on the screen with me.
And then
Thank
I
you.
have, thank you. I've got April Quigley.
Yes, hi, I'm April Quigley and I'm here with Amy West and we're representing Health Imperatives.
That was Amy West. Then we did ASAP, Beth Howard. We did Brian.
Good morning. I'm Brian Lenane. I work for the Nantucket Community School. I'm here with Rachel Mandel from the residents at Sherburne Commons on behalf of the Memory Cafe.
I then have Catherine. We'll circle back around. Francine, which I believe we already
Yes.
talked to. Jamie Smith.
Hi, I'm Jamie Smith from Martha's Vineyard Community Services, and I'm actually here with Catherine Flynn.
Sorry, Jericho, my audio was off. It's not Catherine at all. It's Jeff Coakley. I'm new with Small Friends, and I took over as the Director of Development and Marketing, and I'm using my predecessor's old computer, so.
Thank
It says
you.
Catherine.
Apologies for that.
All right.
We had Jamie Dickinson, Janice Carrero, Jennifer Frazee.
Yep.
Sorry, Lee Tesser. I'm doing it up. Lucia Redondo.
Good morning. I'm Lucia Redondo. I'm with the Warming Place.
Excellent. Rachel Mandel was already in. Rocky Circleback. Sarah Todd.
Hi, I'm Sarah Todd. I'm here with Susie Tapley of Mass Nantucket.
And then we have Susie, and then that is the end of it. Susie, we can just wrap you into that same introduction.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And as new people join, we will, Jericho will let them in. So purpose of our meeting here today is to share information about the Town of Nantucket Human Services and Substance Misuse Grant program, which, the grant applications went live, on, I believe it was the 15th of September, and they are due, the due date is October 15th by end of day. So for the most part, there's been, well, for the most part, things are the same, but there's been some significant changes. And we did a applicant information session last year, and our organizations reported that it was helpful, and we also thought it was helpful. So this is the reason why we're back here today, but mostly because there are some changes. So Jericho will put up on the screen basically a PowerPoint, and for the people that are in the room, we do have what we call, we've been calling just our information sheet. So I think Jericho, if possible, we can email the information sheet out to people at a later date. Or
So the information sheet's up online right next to where the applications are. And then we'll hopefully be putting a what's it called? A video of this, a link to the video that we're having here for anyone who wants to review it.
Okay. So first thing, if you notice, it is fiscal year 27. We operate on the fiscal calendar of the town. So as of July 1, that'll be fiscal year 27 starting. I always get confused because we're really talking in the future in my mind. So the first thing, as Jericho said, the applications are available on the town site. And if anyone has difficulty finding that or whatever, certainly, and I'm going to keep saying this over again, Jericho is the point person for this. So this year, a major change is we have a third grant category. So that is the Human Services Operational Grant. We had in Just Development been calling that a capacity grant, but it is more appropriate to call it an operational grant. That is new for us, and we'll be going over the specifics for that as we go through our presentation.
I have Linda up with a hand.
Okay.
And Linda, I'm gonna just change your name real quick.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, because you can't do owner. It's not legal for a Zoom meeting. So it just always keeps coming up as owner, but I'm not the owner.
Okay. And we do have Linda Williams joining us. So she is a member of CRC. So thank you for pointing that, Linda. You are not the owner, but you are Linda Williams. So thank you for joining us today.
I have Joanna coming as well.
All right, and Joanna Broach will be joining us. Is she on?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So Joanna Roach also is a member of CRC. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have just gotten started here. So
Sorry, I went ahead because I was hitting too many buttons letting people.
Okay. Hang on one second. So we have three categories. The Human Services Operational Grant is a new category this year. Our Human Services Programming Grant is basically the same as we have always had in human services. So when you're applying for that, you're applying for a specific program, and the application is asking overall organizational information, but you're applying for a specific program, money to run a specific program or programs. Then the third category is the substance misuse category, which basically is the same as it has always been also, that it is for substance misuse treatment and prevention and education programs. So we can go on to the next slide.
I'm so good at going.
Okay, so another significant change, for this year. We are capping the award amount for a application at $100,000. The town, although everything is dependent on annual town meeting, but we have gotten a preliminary commitment from the town that the operational and programming grants total is $650,000. And substance misuse is $175,000. So with capping at $100,000, our goal here is we want to spread the money as wisely as we can. You know, we know that the needs are great, but in order to be able to fund as much as possible, a cap at $100,000 on an application is being instituted for this year. The operational grants, the indicator of if you're appropriate for an operational grant is your budget has to be over $500,000. So your yearly operating budget has to be more than $500,000. We'll get more into what operational grants mean as we go along, but that is the main indicator of you're not appropriate if your budget does not hit $500,000. Jericho?
And I can add that is applying organizational's budget. So if whatever the 501c that is the fiscal agent for the grant, if their operating budget is annually 500K or above, it is entirely appropriate to apply for an operational grant.
Okay. And then the next point up on the screen is that an organization can apply for a substance misuse grant and a human services grant, but not for an operational and a programming grant. So an organization that deals with substance misuse certainly can apply in substance misuse, but if they also deal in human services, they can apply for a human services programming grant. Right, Jericho?
And basically that has to do with the funding sources. The substance misuse grants are funded from use limited funding that must go directly to one, but it's completely separate from the human services. So you can apply for both of them.
Okay. All right, next screen. Okay, and this is just, we just covered operational and programming grants are $650,000 and substance misuse is $175,000. And by the way, that is not different than it has been last year, and so that is not a point that we have to go on. Yes.
The intent and the purpose of the revisions has been for us to make a larger request for subsequent years' grant totals. So that's one of the reasons we've been doing a lot of the alterations we have. And hopefully we will be able to announce larger totals for next year, if it works.
Right. And, you know, since we're on the subject at the moment, many of you will be contacted over the next period of time. The town of Nantucket has funded a human services needs assessment, and vendor has been selected and the work is beginning in that area. So this is also part of us securing additional funding as we go forth, but also it will be a tool that will help all of your organizations and us in servicing your organization. So keep your ear to the ground on that, and Jericho?
And we should be like the next few weeks.
Yeah.
We'll start doing reach outs. We intend to have a contractor on the island for the first of hopefully 2 or 3 in-person research periods. Middle October. So they'd be doing focus groups, doing reach outs to different organizations. and doing key stakeholder interviews, basically about 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Alrighty, so of course, today, I'm just going back up to what's on the screen there. Applications, as I said, are due October 15th by 4 p.m., which is the end of the day. In the applications, and I think we'll get into this later on, of just sending a hard copy, and we're not doing hard copies this year, only doing digital. But then if you've sent a digital, and you will get a confirmed receipt from us, and if you haven't gotten a confirmed receipt within 2 days, please call. So we're not requiring hard copies, it's all gonna be done digitally, and there is a guardrail there that if after 2 days you haven't received that confirmation, to contact Jericho. Yes.
And then this is just the real quick, the format thing, because I am the one who ends up turning these into packets. There are Word documents up online, similar to previous years. You can download the Word document onto your machine. In the sections where there'll be the sample agreement from previous years. Then there's the Exhibit D, which is the narrative questions, which you've filled out versions of in the past. You can just type your responses directly into the Word document, save it, and send it back to me, and then that's the sufficient application.
Right. All right, and at any time, if there's a question, please raise your hand, and I assume you can see that there, Jericho.
Yeah.
All righty. So that is the general application process, but once again, only doing digital this year, and if you haven't received that receipt within 2 days, please call, so it'll be tracked down. All righty, on to the next. All right, so the evaluation process for all of the 3 grants is they're due October 15th, and from there over till the middle of November, the committees will be reviewing the substance grants, the program grants, the operational grants. And that brings us to November 14th. November 14th is the day that we've set aside from 9 a.m. to 12 noon for interviews. As in the past, we will get you questions that we have in advance, so you can come prepared with those answers. Not everyone will receive questions. If your grant application is complete and it satisfied all of our curiosity and all of the information, we will not have additional questions for you. We also are not going to require everyone to attend an interview. If the only interviews that we are going to require everyone doing an operational grant. And I think that is the only required interview.
New applicants, I think we.
And new applicants.
And that's mostly just to meet you.
Right.
Mostly.
And if we are not requiring an interview, you are certainly welcome to request an interview to come and just talk face to face. Attending or not attending does not affect the outcome. So, there's some organizations that the applications are pretty straightforward. We funded you in the past. We don't have questions. You're certainly welcome, but you don't need to come to an interview, and it will not affect the outcome. But any new organization, no matter what the dollar amount, we will ask for an interview, and any of the applicants in the operational grant area. And what will happen is after the 14th and interviews, we then will be deliberating November 21st, and then again on December 2nd if possible. And the goal is that our report for the Finance Committee, our recommendations for Finance Committee, and then ultimately goes to the Select Board, is due by December 31st. So if you notice, everything that we're doing is sort of crunched and moved forward a little bit. In the past, we've done interviews in January, we haven't had to have our report due until late February. So we've been asked to have everything done by the end of this calendar year. So it'll be a busy 2 months for the committees. Jericho?
And then going forward, I'm intending to have the RFPs out and ready for review in subsequent years towards the beginning of September, with a collection date towards the beginning of October. I'll probably do some surveying of past agencies to see if there's like a better time for that. But we're really gonna try and move most of the grant related activities a little closer to being done before the holidays, just because the tempo for town meeting has sort of sped up, and it's very difficult to get members and applicants together during the holiday season.
So be aware that there will be a report that will go to finance that will have the organizations and our recommendations for funding. Because we are a government organization and our finances are pending town meeting, so there is a warrant that is put together at town meeting, and it is warrant 9, or is it 11? 9.
Article 9.
Article 9. We cannot guarantee that money until it's voted at town meeting. So you certainly will see, if you attend the finance meeting, you will see how much money is being recommended by us. And if you attend town meeting, you will see your organization and the amount of money that we're recommending, but we don't make official notice because it is pending town meeting. I do encourage everyone, if you can, to attend town meeting and to support the awards that we recommend. So, and then just going on to that, the final signed agreements are done by Jericho, so June 30th. So if you are awarded, your programs, monies become available on July 1st at the beginning of the fiscal year. Okay.
So yeah, I'll likely be reaching out after town meeting if there's any ambiguities in the reporting or use, like the agreement structure. But yeah, hopefully I will have all of them out to you guys before the start of the new fiscal year, so they'll all be signed and in your files as soon as you start that fiscal year's operations.
Okay, next.
I think that's it.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about operational grants, because I think that is what is a bit different. So the intention of an operational grant is it is for an organization to build capacity. We don't assume that there are any brand new organizations that would be applying for this, because you're in the program building stage. But we get to a point where the money that is provided by the Human Services grants through operational grants can help to strengthen the organization and building capacity. I am going to recognize Joanna if she is on.
She should be on. It's doing something strange. There she is.
Okay, Joanna,
Yes.
Can I ask that you add some more words into that, because I realize I'm repeating my words.
You mean about the capacity or the operational grant, right?
Yes.
So those grants are designed to help with your operational budget. So in the past, what had been happening is we had gotten grant applications that really, when we looked into them, were offsets to payroll, right? Or offsets to other costs that the organization was carrying. And instead of making you come up with program justifications for looking for that kind of operational support money, we really looked at separating the two pots of money. So if you are an organization that has a operating budget of over $500,000 and you need offset money for payroll or other sorts of support, then that's the grant that you apply for. If you have a program, right, that you are looking for support for, then you apply for the program grant, right? Because that money should be specific to the program. I hope that's helpful.
Okay. Yes.
I just had a quick question about the decision to cap it at 500 or like start it at 500. I'm just curious as how that decision was made. Just speaking on behalf of STAR, we're not quite that big, but out of our just in thought process.
And I think that what it came down to is a smaller program, still is building. So, you do, you have programs to add into your organization that can be very specifically requested and monitored, et cetera.
Yes.
But at a certain point, there are organizations that have been in existence for a while. They may need money for staff development, for offsetting salaries, just basically shoring up their organization. And I know that I can, if I put on another hat, I can justify for every single one of you that you'd say, well, we need that too. But Jericho?
Basically, the cost of running an operation, running an organization doesn't scale straightforwardly with the size of the organization. So the bigger the organization, it's not necessarily doubling the size of the organization more than doubles the cost to operate it. And when we looked back at the application from previous years where it was programming and then operational costs included into it, it was all in the $500,000 and over.
Okay.
And then basically with programming grants, the programming, if the funding is going directly to programming and it's a smaller scale operation, it's very easy for us to connect the application for programming funding to the operations of the program itself, and it's just easier for us to track.
Yes.
But once the size gets larger, we figured it'd just be easier to do that. And remember, this is the first year we're trying this. We're going to be tweaking that number and seeing if it works, if it's an impediment. If there's any ambiguity in which one you can apply to, you can apply for the exact same thing on the programming grant.
Yeah.
You just have to, it's slightly differently structured. That's all.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you. I was just curious.
Okay. And as far as quarterly reports, it doesn't matter whether it's an operational grant, a program grant, or a substance misuse, you still have the requirement of reporting back quarterly of what has been done in that quarter, how much has been spent, and that's how your reimbursement is done. So it doesn't matter one way or another, if there are still quarterly reporting and distribution of funds. Any other questions?
I think that's just specific to operational grants. We could probably switch to like the general. Do we have any more operational grant specific questions, or we can go to the general question and answer session if you're.
Okay. Does anyone have questions, just generally?
Anything about this grant cycle? Or the process at all?
Okay. All right, I don't see any hands up. But as I said from the beginning, if you have any question, as you get into completing the grant application, please do refer to Jericho, email, phone, and his job the next month is to be the answer person. We want to help you in creating the best grant application possible, and we want to be able to fund organizations. So please, if you have questions, don't hesitate. Alright.
And then if I get,
Okay,
oops,
Sue
sorry, Sue.
Minfordin I got a hand up with Sue.
Hi, I'm just sort of thinking this through for a second. So if you are an organization that is got a budget over $500,000 and that you might be looking for operational support, but also had a program, would you lump it together or would you just go one way or the other?
Interesting question. What we had determined is that if you're applying for an operational grant, just because, well, no, you can, as long as it's not $100,000. The cap is still at $100,000, but I assume if you have an operational grant.
You can include a program in with, the operational support can include a program. So it can be operational support for the organization as it is doing a program, if you'd like.
So long as it doesn't exceed $100,000.
$100,000, exactly.
Thank you for clarifying
Okay.
the muddy situation.
No, that is a fair point.
Yeah,
When you've had your face stuck in it for the last 6 months.
exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to take your head out and see all of it, but
Right,
I appreciate it.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? Elise?
Thank you. Just wondering if you're looking to see applications for fresh new ideas, or can we put in applications for programming you funded in the past?
The answer is yes to both. We always are looking for, basically, we always looked at the program grants to be almost like seed money for an organization to start new ideas. But the reality is that if you've got a program that has been successful and you want that to continue and to grow, then yes, apply for that. It does not mean just new and innovative, although we do want to fund new and innovative things. So, but if you have something that is tried and true that you feel is important and is important to the community, then please apply. All right, Brian?
Good morning. Thank you for all the information. Is the capacity grant limited to organizations that are strictly focused on health, wellness, and mental health? Or can any potential organization apply for a capacity grant?
Any agency anything that falls under human services that is not exclusively substance misuse can apply.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful.
I just realized it probably would behoove us to run through did I just use behoove in a sentence? All right, we should just look at the rubric real quick.
Yes, yes, please. I thought we had that up on the,
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
thank you.
Bear with me for a second, I had to track myself up. Should be it. And yeah, it would be, Are you guys seeing a rubric sheet?
There it is.
Excellent. So this is the revised rubric from the last year. It's how we intend to score and evaluate the various grant requests. And I think it'll help explain what we're looking for in the application and in proposals this year. We renamed and sort of combined some of the rubric categories from previous years. So it's simpler for you guys to understand and simpler for us to evaluate. It's the same scale. And the rubric topics are, we start with focus. Focus is a version of the clarity and efficiency of the proposal itself. This is the formal language where the proposal should be well organized and easy to understood. It should present verifiable data, describes the services offered, define milestones where appropriate, identify target population to be served, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this applies both for the operational and for the programming grants. Just tell us who you're serving, explain why, give us data points that we can either independently verify or are discrete data points that are research and verifiable. And then also, if you have a background or special interest in this area or previous successes, include that in with there as well. So this is sort of information around the mission, the clarity of the clarity and accuracy of the application and how complete and thorough it is. And the grading ones, that you can see what we're looking for in the evaluative criteria, the HA through U, that it's graded where HA is a very good answer. We're not expecting most applicants to get HA. If you do have an HA, that is a strong point in your favor. And it just describes exactly like what the operation or exactly what the program does, who it serves. So when someone asks us, when we ask, we know, what does that fund? It does X, Y, Z. That's basically where we're at. Impact, this is how much of an impact the program or organization or service will have in the community. It's to state clearly what the desired outcomes are and to show how they will be achieved if it's part of an ongoing program. Historical data is very helpful in this area. And then this is an important part, and I'm trying to build this into everything because this will help me argue for increased funding for human services, is that it includes methods for collecting data to support desired outcomes. That can be anything from survey scales, it can be attendance rates, it can be anything, but the more hard data that I have to work with, the better case I can make that we're A, needing this, and B, that this money is having an impact going out. And that's what this measures.
And Jericho, if I could add to that, not only for us, but that is an important tool for all of your organizations, because you want to know if what you're doing is having an impact. Is it reaching the clients that you wish? Has it been successful? And how you would want to tweak whatever you're doing moving forward. So I would look at that as a beneficial thing to develop into all of your programming. And that comes from a former teacher who I remember when that became a thing, like, oh my gosh, what do you mean we've got to, keep track of all this data? But the data is there to help improve as opposed to give you paperwork and busy work. But embrace it as a tool to make things better.
And
To add to that, I think one of the things that we have looked at is in order for us to be able to go to the town and ask for more funding, we need quantitative data, not just qualitative data, because the qualitative data is terrific and supports what we're trying to do. But it's going to be the quantitative data that the town's really going to look at, and that's why it's so important. And also, again, just to reiterate to you guys, when you get reached out to from those of us who are working with the needs assessment, that's also incredibly important to this whole process, because as many of you know or don't know, the needs assessment has not been done in a very long time. And so it's really important information for us to go back and share with the town to help support further funding.
Important to note for all of you, there are so many different types of needs assessment. The needs assessment, there has not been a discrete human services needs assessment designed to reinforce this particular grant cycle since I think 2006. And the only copy of that document I could find is a physical spiral bound copy. So
you may be familiar that there have been other needs assessment done by either the hospital or other but it's been not by the town and not this comprehensive for human services.
Partnership, this is a variation on the collaboration one that we had
Right.
before. Partnership, I think, was a little bit more appropriate of a name. If you are working with other organizations, let us know. The grading scales, formal collaboration would be like a formal legal or MOU based or relationship. Referral categories would also count as collaboration between them. If you're working with other agencies or you have 2 or 3 different organizations working together on a program or a service that you're delivering, then let us know who that is, how it works, and then you get the additional ranking in here.
Right. That we formally just saying collaboration, but really is partnership. So we spend time in really looking at wording to make sure that it's accurately describing. So.
Innovation, so Elise, this comes back to the question you had. We don't only look for new programs. One of my hopes is that I carve out a section of this grant at a later date in the future to have a first-time program, an experimental program thing. Because I think that would be a very good use of the kind of like new approaches, but we do like to see new, innovative, or more efficient methods. If no one has the perfect program, there can always be tweaks. We don't want people to just make tweaks only to satisfy this, but as programs and populations change over time, a program should adapt to it. If there's new ways for you to do existing things, if you've just come up with clever ways to manage existing things, tell us about it. We really want to know what kind of innovations happening, how many, like it's just a good way for us to be checking on and sharing ways of doing things. Same thing. This is new, novel, or creative. Program shows creative adaptation. A lot of it could be adapting a program from elsewhere to work on Nantucket. You can't just take stuff off the shelf for here. So if you're adapting an existing program for elsewhere, that's innovation. So let us know. It's one of the things that we're looking for.
Good.
Cultural relevance. This has been hidden in several of the other rubrics. We just decided the other categories in previous years. This is just, how do you meet people where they are? How much do you do that? Do you do that with linguistically? Do you do that physically in certain cases by bringing services to people? Do you hire from within the communities? Do you have trusted networks and relationships there? And then financial, this is the budget section. It's pretty straightforward. It's the same specific budget documents as last year's cycle. This is just the way that we're going to look at that information now. Real crucial is each proposal should contain a realistic, detailed description of income and expense and address how the proposer intends to leverage funding sources for successful outcomes. That's application speak for what is this money going to do and what is it going to let you do and what's the breakdown of where that money is going. And then again, for programming and for operational or capacity grants, we want to know about your staffing costs because that's an important restriction on almost every non-service thing that happens on a non-profit services thing that happens on Nantucket is staffing and associated costs with that are a big part of it. Let us know how that impacts you, and that's more ammunition for us to take with us when we're arguing for a larger pot of money in future years. And that's the evaluative criteria for that.
The operational
Has an additional.
has one additional, and that is where it breaks down your overall operating budget, and the lowest criteria there is you are more than $500,000. So that is unique for the operational grant.
Yeah, no, real quick.
I would recommend that after your grant is written, to take the rubric and sometimes have another set of eyes look at it, to read the grant application and then go to the rubric, and has your application met the criteria that we're looking for. So do that self-check before you submit. I think that it will ultimately produce a more robust application.
And I am happy to act as a sounding board. I'm not involved in the decision-making process or the awarding process for the grants. If you have questions regarding what, how this lands from the committee's point of view, whether it satisfies requirements, anything like that, please feel free to get in touch with me, and I'm happy to act as a sounding board there.
Okay. All right, any other questions at this point?
On anything CRC related,
Or grant application?
grant application related,
Grant
yeah.
application,
Well, and needs assessment,
needs assessment?
and birds, I guess. I'm learning, but I'll try.
Yeah. All righty. Well, we appreciate everyone's, attending this morning. We know that you are all busy and, we don't want to take up more of your time. If you would like to stay, you can, but we are going to just go on and, finish our meeting. And we look forward to receiving applications from you. And also, if you know of other organizations that were not present this morning, please do encourage people to apply. There are notices in the Inky with our grant dates. I don't know if it ran last week or it's running this
It could
week.
be up this week. I
Yeah,
think it's up
this
this week
week.
for the next 3.
Yeah, so, you will see a notice there, and of course, if you go to the town website, so we want people to apply, so please spread the word. And, best of luck, and, October 15th at 4 p.m. And remember, it's done digitally, and if you haven't received a, grant receipt application, a email, please do reach out if you don't get it within 48 hours, 48 business hours, let's put it that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
All
everyone.
right, have a great day, everyone.
All right, should we close that?
All right, so, do we have any other business at this point for CRC? I'm gonna just go over the dates, that we agreed upon, and I know that everyone has gotten these from Lexi. But, as we said, October 15th, the grants are due. On October 24th, we will have a review meeting for substance misuse grants, so. We're going to, be doling out, the applications, I don't know if Lexi will get them all to us at the same time, but we are going to examine by portion. And we also agreed that there were some applications that are a certain dollar amount or below that, we will certainly review it, but we don't need to spend necessarily interview time, or unless there's something new and different. But we're gonna be doing October 24th is substance, October 31st is program grants, November 7th is operational grants. Then November 14th, between 9 and 12 will be our interviews. And again, I want to state that whether you attend an interview or not, it does not affect the outcome. And then our deliberations, we have November 21st as our deliberation date. And as a placeholder, we put December 2nd if we need an additional day for more deliberations. And then from there, the report will be done and we'll be ready to submit it by the end of the calendar year. I also wanted to thank everyone who participated in the grant award ceremony. I thought it was a lovely morning. We couldn't have had a more beautiful setting or day. And it was just wonderful to see people in person and meet people in person. And we hope to make that an annual event. And potentially think of other things to do. You know, it's important compared to other organizations on the island that do give grants. We are an arm of the Nantucket government. And, you know, I think it's important for our community to understand that the town does support programs, and we're trying to just get that message out, and doing a grant award ceremony is one way of doing that. And we hope that the town will also be doing more press releases, and you know, they've gotten much more active on Instagram, and we appreciate even whatever they're putting out there. So so thank you all for attending and that day. Any other business at this point? So the next CRC meeting is Friday, the 24th at 9 a.m. We will be doing in-person and hybrid again. So we look forward to seeing the CRC members there, and on that day, we will be doing substance misuse grants. All right. With no hands up with comments or whatever, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second with Lee, so Joanna first, or Lee second. So by roll call, Joanna,
Aye.
Suzanne,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
John? Aye, okay.
Aye, it is.
Aye. And that was by motion again, aye?
Yes, now it's my voice.
Linda,
Okay.
are you?
And
I'm
Linda,
still
are you-
here. Yes,
Oh,
I
hey.
am.
So
Okay,
it's doing
Linda.
this thing where if your camera is off, it's not showing the box like normal. I need to figure out how to turn that off.
I
Okay,
don't know
so
what's going on with it.
Linda,
Hi.
I and myself, Veronica, so we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you soon.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Veronica.
Yeah, good.
Bye, everyone.
Aye.
Bye, Jen.